Open source artificial intelligence, Obama on Facebook, and scientists get the red carpet treatment. Tech News Tonight is next.
This is Twit.
This is Tech News Tonight, episode 463 for Monday, November 9th, 2015. This episode is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron will send you all of the ingredients to cook fresh, delicious meals with simple step-by-step instructions right to your door. See what's on the menu this week and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. That's blueapron.com/twit. Welcome. I am Megan Maroney. Let's get to the tech news. You know those algorithms that allow Google tools to recognize your Labradoodle in all of your photos? They also know whether you're speaking French or Chinese and find whatever you're looking for on the web. Google just announced that they're giving that technology away to anyone who wants to use it. That's right. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said today that the company is open sourcing their machine learning software called TensorFlow. TensorFlow is available under Apache 2.0 license. It can run on just about anything from smartphones to giant data centers. Why give it away? Google says more academic researchers, engineers, and hobbyists working with TensorFlow means the technology will accelerate at a much greater pace. And since machine learning powers so much of Google's products and services, this can only give Google better tools to take over the world in the future. President Obama now has his own Facebook page, which makes him the second to last man on Facebook. My husband is the last man on Facebook. The president's page is facebook.com/POTUS, so it's likely to be handed down to the next person in office. And speaking of Facebook, the social networking site better watch its back, especially when it comes to video views. Snapchat has tripled video traffic since May, according to a recent report in the Financial Times. And if this surprises you, that means you are old. Snapchat now boasts 6 billion videos a day. That's compared to the 8 billion per day that Facebook reported last week. Xiaomi has a new wearable. The Mi Band Pulse includes a real-time heart rate monitor. It tracks steps and sleeps, lets you set alarms, and delivers some notifications when you pair it with a phone. And because it's from Xiaomi, you know it will be cheap. The new wearable is only $15 US. It's not available in the U.S., but you can buy it on Wednesday in China. If the new band follows the path of the original Mi Band, it should be available in India, Europe, and the U.S. soon. You can buy the first generation Mi Band on Xiaomi's global Mi.com store for only $11 US. Over the weekend, Pinterest announced a new visual search feature that will allow you to search using an image. If you see something on Pinterest you like, click the gray and white magnifying glass in the top right corner. Drag your mouse to put a box around the part of the image you want to learn more about, and you'll see a list of visually similar results. The new feature is rolling out today. Coming up, can one award ceremony turn scientists into celebrities? But first, this episode is brought to you by Blue Apron. You cannot eat out forever. Believe me, I've tried. But to be a real adult, we all need to know how to cook. Cooking at home means eating healthier and saving money instead of ordering expensive takeout. But where do you start? For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron delivers all the fresh ingredients you need to create home-cooked meals. Just follow the easy step-by-step instructions. Each meal can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. No overwhelming trips to the grocery store. No more sad takeout. No matter your dietary preferences, Blue Apron makes it easy to discover and prepare dishes like Trattoria-style cheeseburgers with crispy rosemary garlic potatoes and aioli, or coconut curry braised cauliflower with aromatic basmati rice and cilantro chutney. Cook with ingredients that you've never used before, like watermelon radishes farro and purple potatoes. Recipes are between 500 to 700 calories per portion, delicious and good for you. Right now, you can get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. Check out this week's menu and get your first 2 meals free by going to blueapron.com/twit. And we thank Blue Apron for their support of Tech News Tonight. Even scientists deserve glitzy award shows. Last night, scientists and mathematicians were honored at the Breakthrough Prize ceremony, the so-called Oscars for Science. The awards were started by a group of tech luminaries, including Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Before the event, Zuckerberg spoke to Bloomberg about science giving and Facebook's role in health. Mark Millian, tech editor at Bloomberg Business, is here to talk to us today about what Zuckerberg had to say. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, Megan.
So first, tell us a little bit about the Breakthrough Prizes.
Yeah, Breakthrough Prize was an event that, as you said, Zuckerberg started with some other folks, including Yuri Milner, the Russian billionaire investor who put some money into Facebook early on. And the idea behind it was just to kind of honor and recognize some of the big developments within the scientific world. Zuckerberg told us about how he saw politicians and celebrities and even tech CEOs had these like glitzy, fancy events, but there was nothing like it in the science world. So that was kind of the impetus behind starting this particular event. And then this is the third one running. Actually, I guess it's the second one, 2013. No, third. Sorry. And so they had a whole new batch of brainiacs that they gave money to and awards.
So how's it working out? Are scientists turning into celebrities?
Scientists are not. Can you name a scientist outside of your notes for this particular show?
No, not the one that I would consider.
I mean,
a
not
celebrity.
Not one that's alive, maybe.
Right, and of course we weren't today talking about all the gowns they were wearing as we do in the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, it's still an early thing, and I'm not sure it'll ever accomplish its goal at like making scientists into celebrities, and I'm not really sure that that's what scientists are really in it for anyway. I don't think they're, spending years in the lab working on genetics research to become famous and go to cool dinners. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to sort of reward and give money to and sort of further the important research that's affecting the future of humanity.
Right, and if they're trying to, inspire the future generation, I guess it follows that we're inspired. Kids are inspired by celebrities in some way, so maybe that will work. Last night, Zuckerberg presented an award to one scientist whose breakthrough could advance the treatment of heart disease. Now, is this a sign that Facebook is going to be getting into the health tech field?
No, it's not. So yeah, Helen Hobbs was the scientist from UT Southwestern that Zuckerberg gave an award to. And in our interview, he talked to us a lot about his interests in health and health technology, and which is, I mean, sort of like the future of humanity and like living, which is a big thing for Google right now. They've got the life sciences group and all of this investment into health. But we asked him, so does that mean Facebook is going to have some type of health product similar to Google and Samsung? And he said no, that, Facebook's got its focus mission on connecting the world and being a communication platform, and that, his personal interest in health will probably manifest itself in other ways, in particular, philanthropy. So we expect he'll look more at, donations and grants for health research personally, rather than doing some big initiative at Facebook.
So there's also, this was the first ever Junior Breakthrough Prize, where they awarded a prize to a high schooler, I think, who did a video on the special theory of relativity. And so is this kind of movement emblematic of the fact that Zuckerberg is going to be a dad and he's thinking about the future, thinking about kids?
Yeah, that was definitely something that we asked him about, because his first child is on its way, and there is, a big sort of production made out of his wife, Priscilla Chan, getting pregnant with their first child. And he said, yeah, that like since they found out about this pregnancy and have been planning their family, they are thinking more about future generations and investing in the future and wanting to care for their son and their son's children someday. And so, one small example of that is this Breakthrough Junior Challenge that you were talking about, which is awarding, giving money and prizes to younger people who are working on science, and hopefully encourage the next generation to spend more time investigating into science instead of, wanting to be a celebrity.
So Zuckerberg's criticized a lot. He's sometimes criticized, trying to connect the world, criticized for, that really just being beneficial to Facebook and getting the world on Facebook. He also donated $100 billion to reform public schools in Newark. And that, by all accounts...
$100 million.
$100 million.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, I thought you said billion.
I probably did say billion. 100 billion million. It was a lot of money. $100 million.
It was, yeah. 100 million is a lot of money too.
and it was a failure. I mean, consultants were paid millions of dollars to kind of reform the school. Teachers were asked to work more, and they were paid next to nothing. Basically, the criticism was that it was Cory Booker and also Mark Zuckerberg and Chris Christie, and they were criticized because they really had no idea what was going on the ground of these schools. And that's common. It's hard to know unless you're there, unless you're a parent or a teacher or you work on the school board. It's very hard to know what the problem is and how to fix it. So now he's kind of starting over. What has he learned from that sort of failed experience with philanthropy? What has he learned, and what is he doing now?
Yeah, that was something we asked him about, specifically the Newark initiative, which you're right, a lot of people would consider an unsuccessful investment of a ton of money, and was actually a very interesting use case, sort of an example of when people say the public school system is underfunded. If only we put more money into schools, then we'd be able to solve a lot of the problems. And that example showed that it's not just money that's the problem with the American school system. And so one of the things that he talked to us about was how, he called it V2 or version 2 of his and Priscilla's giving is going to be toward local initiatives. And so the San Francisco Bay Area, which granted already has a lot of money, will likely be getting some more money from Zuckerberg and Chan, which can be a good thing because infrastructure in this area, despite all of the billions of dollars surrounding it, is pretty lacking, particularly in San Francisco. And so they could affect a lot of change. And one of the big reasons they want to focus it locally is because they can keep an eye on it. Whereas Newark, being, 3,000 miles away, it was understandably a little hard for the Zuckerbergs to check in and make sure and monitor that the schools were spending the money efficiently.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining us and describing what Zuckerberg had to say and telling us about the event. The chat room also helped me out a little bit with celebrity scientists. It pointed out Michio Kaku, who has done a lot to try to make science more mainstream. So there's a lot of scientists out there.
There you go. Remember that name.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Mark Millian is a tech editor at Bloomberg Business. He's at Mark Millian on Twitter. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Take care. And finally tonight, here's some news from another organization started with Zuckerberg money. Code.org just announced the newest Hour of Code, which will feature characters from the upcoming Star Wars movie. Budding coders can drag and drop parts of code to move cartoon versions of Rey, the new female character from the movie. They can also work with BB-8, R2-D2, C-3PO, and Princess Leia. Star Wars Building a Galaxy with Code will be available for free in more than 180 countries. And that's it for this edition of Tech News Tonight. We're on Facebook and YouTube, iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and 3 new apps on the Apple TV. You can also subscribe to this show at twit.tv/TN2. Write to us at TN2@twit.tv and watch live every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific. If you want to hear your voice on the show, you can record a question or a comment in a voice memo using your phone and email it to me at megan@twit.tv. And don't miss our morning news program, Tech News Today. That's every weekday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm Megan Maroney. Thanks for watching.
Bandwidth for Tech News Tonight is brought to you by CashFly.com.